Hello and welcome to another episode of the AFW Uncaged series, where we take these beautiful wrestling figures and rip them out of their packaging and set them free. I am your commissioner, Dylan Gilbert, and with me as always, my good friend, the Daredevil, Dave Dahl.
You know the spiel. You listen to the podcast. I ain't going to do it on the uncaging. Nah, screw it. I'll do it. Your friend, your hero, your My House Sports Gear sponsored athlete, the Retromania Wrestling Superstar, or the Virgil, whichever you choose, the king of the downvote, the head of Breakdown, Daredevil, Dave Dahl, and the man that just tricked the crap out of Dylan because he thought I actually wouldn't plug my own self, knowing full well that is the kind of person I am.
Man, I thought for once you weren't going to try to put yourself over, but you know what? I respect the hustle.
If I don't go over in matches, I got to put myself over here, right? Like, it's just the way it is.
I mean, completely fair.
But
so, this
Kushida!
Kushida, the time splitter, the gimmick that we will probably never see again, so I had to hurry up and snag this Series 88.
I don't mind him, in the tights, though. So, like, if we get a tights version of him, that's cool, too.
It's cool, too, but, like, this was great because he signed with WWE before the Super 7 deal got around to him. So it is great to see Bill McKenna's love of New Japan Pro Wrestling work in our favor here. We're essentially getting a New Japan Kushida in this figure.
He did wear this in NXT for a little bit.
He did, but, first thing I have to do, this little certified authentic garbage here, we're just going to throw that away because these packages are so easy to repack. So I think certified authentic is just it's just begging for grandparents and parents that don't know wrestling to buy kids figures that they don't want. And that makes me sad and I don't like it.
Well, I'm going to start without taking his glasses out because they're awesome.
Glasses are so good. So for the uninitiated, goodness, take a shot. The time splitter gimmick started in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and it is a pretty great knockoff of the
Marty
Back
McFly.
to the Future films. He is very much dressed like Marty McFly. So I've got my answer for this one preset. I was going to see if Dave, if you had an answer for this one. What is your favorite Kushida match? Whether it be NXT, whether it be New Japan, whatever.
I actually don't have one because I didn't get to see much of him in New Japan. Like, I knew of him and I've seen, like, clips, like, highlights and stuff. But I don't think I watched any of his full matches until NXT. And, I don't have a favorite match of his yet. I mean, there's still time to get one.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally fair. There's still plenty of time.
I mean, I didn't really start watching New Japan until Jericho went over there to face Kenny, because that's when it was like, oh, they have a streaming service? Why the hell ain't I watching this? And then I was like watching it like nonstop.
I was ahead of you by probably a few shows. Like I remember watching Omega, Okada, 2 out of 3 falls. Not live, but not far behind live. It was still going on when I pulled the stream up. I got up very early my time to watch it and backed up. So I was watching at that point. But probably my favorite Kushida match was the Wrestle Kingdom 12 Fatal 4-Way between Kushida, Hiromu Takahashi, Will Ospreay, and a man who will not be named. But he had a quite villainous persona in ring, and then we sadly found out of the ring but man, it was just such a great match. All parties involved brought it to another level. We had, I believe it was Ospreay cutting the moonsault off of like the lighting trusses that sat outside of the ring. Just a real fun match for all involved and all that watched at home. Fantastic match.
Just take him out of the bubble. He's awesome. And I believe he has the double jointed elbows.
I would have to take the entrance gear off to confirm that.
Well, I mean, MVP has them, and he's in the same wave. The only one that doesn't have them is Ray from the same wave. Ray still has the single elbows like his top picks does. So I guess why make a new Ray mold when you just released the top picks? So they still have single elbows.
They released a very good Ray top picks too.
Oh, it's great. I mean, I like both of these Rays, especially because this 89 Ray matches 88 Ray matches the 89 Dom. But yeah, MVP has the double elbows. So everybody else besides Ray probably has the double elbows.
Try not to rip the gear off, but I may have to confirm our thesis here.
I did it by just moving the arm. You can tell by how the joint moves.
Before I actually delve into taking gear off this figure,
I put the glasses on.
I've put the Marty McFly style glasses on. And man, this is for the wrestling fan, but also the Back to the Future fan. This is such a great figure. I literally think the only thing missing is the Back to the Future licensed hoverboard he used in New Japan. But this gear is, I mean, it's almost exactly what he used in Japan. Of course, the match that I listed earlier was him in like a gray gear, but it was a very similar gear. The shorts and like all of it, he on his boots, kick pads, and all were gray, but everything else was the same. He wore the denim jacket with the orange vest and everything.
I do like the fact that it's a rubber vest and then a soft goods jacket.
I was up, so I just pulled the vest off, which is the rubber vest. But if you look at the figure itself, you've got the soft goods that looks like the denim jacket. So it really does fit the character, and it
has
fits
double
what
elbows.
He's trying to be.
But there is some staining from my denim. I have a few marks on him, on his shoulders and his biceps.
So I'm not actually seeing that on mine. Okay, I'm seeing some on the back now that we're talking about it.
Yeah, that's where mine is, on the shoulders, on the back, and on the back of the biceps.
I do think that Mattel did a great touch with putting the wrist tape and the elbow pads underneath the entrance gear. They could have very easily kind of snuck that by, and
like they did the Slaughter, where his elbow pads are on.
But as we can confirm, that is a double jointed elbow. I like the way that they did the head sculpt on this one. It actually has the ponytail here. The undercut is done very well.
The only thing that worries me about the ponytail is the fact that it might break off.
Yeah, I think the only thing that makes me feel a little better about it is that it's a soft ponytail, where still like the old Kurt Hawkins or like the RVD, they were a little stiffer. I think this one will have more give. And look, that may end up being the reason that it comes off later, but I do like that they nailed down the just the whole
I just worry
head.
because if he gets drafted to Breakdown, he's going to be in a lot of competition.
Well, you can always just go back in time because he is the time splitter.
Terrible movie.
Don't you ever talk smack on the Back to the Future series.
Oh, no. The movie Time Splitter. Or is
Okay,
it
good,
Clock
good.
Stoppers? It's some stupid movie, but it's cool
Yeah,
that they
no, you're
use
thinking Clock Stoppers. That movie was garbage. Suck it,
they.
Nickelodeon. But
So for the thigh and all, they
this
definitely use the KO pant mold,
oh yeah, they totally did. Which
and then
for
the
somebody
pelvic
like
mold is somebody
myself,
else's. I
for
like the
somebody
belt
like
being molded on
myself
though.
that likes the deathmatch wrestling scene, I may snag an extra one of these to try to do an Akira. So exotic weapon. If you find this video, send me an 8x10. I'm a big fan. But I think this figure will be great in the world of the customs because it is a smaller guy with the shorts. You get a lot of indie guys with that, but
And the kick
I mean, just
pads.
the kick pads, the white, the white knee pads, kick pads, shorts combo is great. Man, I
Is he
think
taller than Ray?
Mattel hit a home run with this one. If
He's
you
a little
look at
taller than Ray.
the wrist tape on the left side, it actually has like the clock drawn on it, which I think is great because he has that on his wrist tape. To stick with the whole out of time gimmick. I really do think the only thing missing, and I understand why it's missing, is the pink hoverboard. And
But you could get the Mario McFly NECA figure and use the
yeah,
hoverboard.
that's a whole other $30 purchase, but
Yeah, but you can use Mario McFly as a special guest in your figure pack.
yeah, you could always
I
do
mean,
somebody in the major pod group use like a Marty McFly as like a
I just use Power Rangers as enhancement talent.
that is
So
right. If you're watching this video live, check in on week 7 of the AFW podcast. The Power Rangers figures ended up as enhancement talent, and I kind of blew up his spot there, but it was still a great moment. But man, I have to say, as
this is
a
like
fan of
perfect figure.
Japanese wrestling, as a fan of the Back to the Future series, and as a fan of Kushida himself, I think that Bill and Mattel absolutely nailed this one. I may have to snag another one or two of these to do some deathmatch customs with the baggy short mold and the kick pads. Those will look great once you've added some bloody effects to them and whatnot. But man, they just look so crisp and so clean with this Kushida figure. I have almost nothing negative to say.
I don't.
Dave, what are your thoughts?
I think it's a great figure. The articulation's good. Yeah, everything just looks good on it. I mean, the mold's great. The pant mold, the pelvic mold, the kick pad mold, the knee pad mold. Everything's good. They did a really
I
great job with this.
I think the fact that they went the mix between like the rubber vest and the soft goods jean jacket, it just made for a great combination. I'll probably take more time to pose it correctly, but it just looks so good. It's so striking. It's gonna
And
look
the fact
great
that
posed up
Mattel's
on your
added double
shelf.
elbows to their figures now, I know it's a
Yes.
move to compete with, AEW's figures to make them a
Yeah,
little bit more
Jazzwares
articulate.
bringing in the double jointed elbows standard is great for the adult collector, the people
But the only
doing big
thing
photography, stuff like
that
that.
bothers me about the Jazzware figures is like some of the figures, their arms seem a little too small.
Yeah.
Like Cody, like his arms are tiny. And I feel they're just small in size in general. But you like Kushida has bigger arms than Cody does. So
I forget who it was. I want to say it was My Damn Toys I was listening to, who talked about the fact that Mattel like over rips their figures, whereas Jazzwares kind of under
think
rips
so.
the figures, and I think this is a very, very obvious display of that. But I think all of
When
my
we're looking at it,
complaints on this
like they
figure
gave
are very
MVP like a little
minor.
dad bod. Yeah, but look, they gave MVP like a little dad bod. So like, and his arms look right. I mean, and the Ultimate Taker, he was bigger back then, and he has the bigger arms. So
Well, but you also see like I look. Maybe it's because I'm a large man with a beer gut myself, but like the Kevin Owens figures have like the clearly cut and super defined like arm muscles, and he's not that dude.
yeah,
Mattel definitely does like over jack or overcut their figures, whereas like Jazzwares kind of under jacks or undercuts some of these guys. But I think as that line grows, we'll see a change.
most
But
likely. I love this figure actually. I'm enjoying it.
yeah, I have to say. So we'll go out of a 0 to 5, 0 obviously being the lowest, 5 being the highest. Dave, what are you giving this one?
Big E, 5
For
count.
for the few people that will listen to the audio and not the video, Dave's giving it a 5. I am gonna say probably 4.5. I'm gonna be just a little more critical. But I still think this is probably one of my favorite figures of 2021. I think it nails the gimmick. I think it nails what the gimmick is trying to copy. And as a New Japan fan myself, it was great to get a New Japan figure depicting one of my favorite New Japan talents without having to spend Super 7 prices. Thanks a lot, Bill McKenna, on that one.
Or Storm Collectibles. I kind of wish we could get a Mattel Liger.
Oh man, a Mattel Liger would be so good. But with that said, I think we are almost out of time here. So for myself and the Daredevil Dave Dahl, we will see you next time on another episode of AFW Uncaged. We are out of here.